Hi all, I've knocked up a new slide in Paint which I'd like to go over with you. What I was trying to do was look at Kotov's Play Like a Grandmaster, where he emphasises three fishes of chess mastery, namely positional judgment, combinations, and kind of the calculation of variations. So I've retitled these a bit, and I've also put in positional sacrifices here as part of an aspect of combinations, and I've got a concrete example to show that as well, why I'd consider positional sacrifices a major branch there. Really what I wanted to do is highlight, well, first of all, let's go over the Steinitzian flowchart. So Steinitz basically was emphasizing that you needed enough advantage in order to justify an attack, and actually by doing the attack you're sort of consolidating those advantages, otherwise sometimes they'll just dissipate, they'll disappear. And if you don't have an advantage, well, then the opponent hasn't made a mistake. And what you can do, instead of going for the attack then, is manoeuvre more, but try and provoke weaknesses. As one of you has asked in the video, how do you get a mistake from the opponent? And I said about provocative knight move, but there's various methods. You can just simply maintain the tension and position, do nothing well. This is one of the aspects of Carlsen's play when I saw this Carlsen lecture last year in Gibraltar. That Carlsen, a lot of the time, he's doing nothing well, maintaining the tension, doing little moves which slightly improve his position, make it future independent, like putting all his pawns on a different colour to his bishop. And the opponent, in the meantime, is given maximum potential for making mistakes. So provoking the opponent generally, and Lasker, the psychologist, would try and create an over-optimism from a lot of his opponents and provoke them in their own particular ways. He was a great example of a world champion, using psychology to induce errors from the opponent. So there's various ways. So once there's an error, then there might be an opportunity for an advantage, and it's up to you to decide. Well, do you want to go for a direct attack? But what does attack mean? Does it mean a direct attack on the king, or can it be on the queen side? I think Steinitz is flexible. He doesn't just generally mean the king. He might mean on the other side of the board as well. And hopefully the attack will be irresistible and you'll win because you've accumulated enough advantages. Okay, you might not agree with the logic of this flowchart, and Exeter Chess Club actually asks a very interesting question, that why do you have to even ask this question if you've got the advantage? Why can't you just try and play the theoretically best move you can do? Why is it important to sort of know if you've got the advantage? Well, statistically, in a lot of cases, if you have an advantage, then the existence of a combination or a winning attack is more likely to be there. It should be in your position. That difference between you and your opponent, you've got a big advantage. They shouldn't be able to resist the attack. So maybe the importance of actually knowing if you've got the advantage is of practical importance. But a lot of the time, you might just be pushing yourself in terms of just thinking processes, and this is why I've tried to map thinking processes to the Steinitz flowchart. So we've got the Steinitz flowchart here, and the thinking process, you're pushing yourself hard, thinking positionally, and you're also calculating variations. So these are two of the fishes of chess mastery. And Kotov talks about combinations. Now, one thing I noticed a couple of days ago is that actually, in a way, the dynamic and tactical thinking, I had said in the previous video about accumulating dynamic advantages, and when I was revisiting that video, I thought, what a load of tosh. How would you accumulate dynamic advantages? Because, by their nature, they dissipate quite quickly. They disappear. If you've got, say, an advantage in development or pressure, sometimes if you don't convert that to anything, then it's going to disappear. So the importance of consolidation, that's why I've highlighted consolidation, and I've highlighted in particular positional sacrifices as a means of consolidating these temporal tactical advantages. So that's why it's especially important to consolidate temporary advantages. And I don't want to waffle on and on theoretically about it, I want to show you a concrete example of such a consolidation. But also I wanted to highlight that this aspect of consolidation is also, as we've seen in the Steinitz flowchart, that actually the necessity of attacking is not just an exciting thing to do. It's what you need to do. Otherwise, you risk losing your advantages. So consolidation is also a key theme here, in my view. And I was really just trying to tie in the Steinitzian logic, the logical framework, with just thinking processes in their own right. You know, when you think dynamically and statically, how do you accumulate advantages from that? Especially the dynamic thinking, it needs the positional sacrifice. And I kept these thoughts to myself, but then I stumbled across a Suetin article from Encyclopaedia Britannica, where he also emphasizes that in the Russian school of chess they're particularly fond of positional sacrifices. And I just see them now, but perhaps they are a key way of capturing advantages which otherwise would disappear, but also used in the context of advantage accumulation. In which case, you know, would you get in the Russian school of chess many players using the basic Steinitzian framework, but using it in a way to just accumulate both advantages from tactical thinking and strategic thinking in a ruthless, you know, riskless manner? And I also even questioned that many players like Karpov, you know, that they don't take the risk of the attack until they've accumulated, you know, huge amounts of advantage. So this question, is it enough? You know, maybe this can go on and on a bit until the advantage itself wins. Maybe the attack is not really needed. These advantage accumulators, you know, we know about Capablanca, who went years without loss. So they seem to adopt also this Steinitzian framework in such a way to minimise risk and, you know, reducing opponents' counterplay. So this advantage accumulation model may be the backbone of a lot of the top, you know, Russian grandmasters that we've witnessed, especially Anatoly Karpov. But I want to discuss now, with a concrete example, this notion of capturing, in particular, dynamic advantages through a positional sacrifice. Please leave any comments or questions on this video, and in the next video I'll look at that example. Thanks very much.